Welcome to a journey through Cambodia, a country with a rich history and ancient traditions that continue to captivate and intrigue people from all over the world. Although this country is one of the most beautiful in Asia, it remains relatively unknown. But prepare to be enchanted, because this country is full of natural beauties and curiosities that will take your breath away. You don't believe it? What if I told you that in this unusual country, there is a tribe where fathers build huts so that their daughters can rotate and have sex with different men in order to find the perfect husband? Curious, isn't it? Well, stay with us until the end, because the video is full of stories, curiosities, and of course a lot of information about this practice, so controversial for some cultures. First of all, if you are wondering where Cambodia is, you should know that it is a country in Southeast Asia, bordering Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam. To many, its geographical location may seem remote, but its tumultuous history and deep scars make it unforgettable. In the 19th century, Cambodia found itself under the shadow of French colonial rule, lost its political independence, and became a protectorate. But the struggle for self-determination was not forgotten, and in 1953, after decades of colonization, the country finally saw the light of independence after the Indochina War. However, peace was short-lived. The late 1960s brought with it a devastating civil war, which divided the Cambodian nation. Government forces, backed by the United States, clashed with Khmer Rouge communist rebels, supported by China. This conflict resulted in an unprecedented humanitarian tragedy. In 1975, the Khmer Rouge emerged victorious, establishing a brutal Maoist dictatorship led by Pol Pot. Under this tyrannical regime, some 1.7 million people lost their lives in one of the darkest episodes in modern history, the Cambodian genocide. Pol Pot was a former Buddhist monk, and during his rule seized power shortly after the Vietnam War, where he remained for 4 years, enough to stain the country's history with blood and place himself as the world's second greatest genocidal leader, second only to Hitler. He executed anyone who had the slightest education or knowledge. He closed schools, libraries, hospitals, and banned medicines. He sent the population to concentration camps to work as slaves. Thus, the country fell into the shadows and went back in time. These were dark years, as shown in Roland Joffé's film, Cries in Silence. The situation did not begin to change until 1978, when Vietnam intervened militarily, overthrowing the Khmer Rouge regime and installing a pro-Vietnamese government. However, the following decade was marked by monumental challenges, and the country faced an uphill struggle for reconstruction and reconciliation. One of the most surprising aspects of this journey was that the Cambodian genocide was not officially recognized until 2009, decades after the horrific events. Education about this tragedy was not allowed in schools until after this period, which in itself reflects the complexity of the national reconciliation process. However, despite the challenges, Cambodia began to rediscover economic development in the 1990s, and, with internal efforts and international assistance, the country began to lift its head, investing in infrastructure, education, and tourism. And while we're on the subject of tourism, let's go sightseeing. Although the past of massacres and conflicts cannot be erased, the Cambodia of today is very different from that of wartime, and that is why our first stop is the capital, the impressive Phnom Penh. This city is a veritable treasure trove, replete with history, culture, and breathtaking scenery that captivates the hearts of travelers. Phnom Penh is the largest and most populous city in the country, brimming with life and energy. One of the city's most iconic landmarks is the majestic Royal Palace. This magnificent complex was originally built as a royal residence in 1866, testimony to the splendor and grandeur of the Cambodian monarchy. A curiosity is that after the removal of the dynasty, the royal palace took on a new, rather somber role. It served as a house prison for royalty. Another jewel that we cannot fail to mention is the Silver Pagoda, also known as Silver Temple or Temple of the Emerald Buddha, located near the Royal Palace. Built in 1962 to replace an earlier wooden structure, the Silver Pagoda is an architectural masterpiece, made of marble and adorned with no less than 5,000 silver tiles, and the richness is not only on the floor. Inside the Silver Pagoda, visitors have the opportunity to contemplate two sacred relics: the famous Emerald Buddha, made of baccarat crystal, and a solid gold Buddha weighing an incredible 90 kilo. And while we are on the subject of Buddha, it is important to note that Cambodia is a country deeply rooted in the Theravada Buddhist faith, which is practiced by about 90% of the population. However, other religions such as Hinduism, Islam, and Catholicism are also present, reflecting the cultural and religious diversity of the country. That said, it is impossible to talk about Cambodia without mentioning Angkor, the largest religious complex in the world. Originally built as a place of worship for the Hindu god Vishnu, Angkor was converted to Buddhism over the centuries. This impressive site is home to several temples, including the iconic Angkor Wat, considered the symbol of the country and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Angkor is a true architectural marvel, featuring the Bayon, adorned with huge stone Buddha heads, and the Elephant Terrace. One of the highlights of Angkor is the Temple of Ta Phrom, famous for its appearance in the movie Tomb Raider. This temple is unique for its semi-abandoned appearance, with vegetation growing amidst its stone structures, creating a mysterious and enchanting atmosphere typical of the movie. And a tip: to enter any of the city's temples, you should wear clothes that cover your shoulders and knees. If there is one thing you cannot miss in a vacation destination, it is the perfect combination of sea and sun, and Cambodia does not disappoint. Although many are unaware of it, the country is home to a paradisiacal coastline, replete with stunning beaches and islands that are true hidden treasures. Among these stunning destinations is Koh Rong, an island paradise off Cambodia's southern coast. Its beaches with calm, crystal-clear waters create a serene and relaxing atmosphere, far from the hustle and bustle of life on the mainland. To reach this dream island, travelers can embark from the mainland, but the icing on the cake comes at night. When the sky darkens, the sea comes alive with bioluminescent organisms that emit an intense blue glow, transforming the waves into a spectacle of light and movement. It is a truly magical and unforgettable experience. In addition to the natural wonders, be prepared to be enchanted by the hospitality and friendliness of the Cambodian people. Very welcoming to tourists, Cambodians make the experience of visiting the country even more special. Now that we have learned a bit about the places to visit, we have to talk about customs and curiosities. So let's start by talking about a fundamental aspect of Cambodian culture: food. In Cambodia, people do not cook at home and prefer to eat on the street. In every street, there are food stalls or markets. And the menu is huge: snakes, crickets, worms, beetles, spiders, and other insects, as well as the typical pong tia kun, the boiled duck egg with partially formed embryos. Breakfast is also very different. It is very common to have culture shock at breakfast when traveling to Asian countries. They eat lunch and dinner for breakfast. Obviously, in hotels, they try to adapt to the palate of the Western tourist, but it is very strange to see people eating rice, meat, or noodles first thing in the morning. And if the idea is to have some of the meals in restaurants, keep in mind that the waiter will not give you a knife. They usually eat only with a fork and spoon. A fascinating curiosity about Cambodia is its obsession with white skin. Despite the high temperatures, which often exceed 35 degrees Celsius, it is common to see locals covered from head to toe. Hats, several layers of blouses, pants, and even socks are worn, even on hot days. You might think it is to protect themselves from the scorching sun, but in reality, for most Cambodians, having fair skin is considered a standard of beauty. They avoid tanning as much as possible, especially women, and it is even common for people to go to the beach completely covered up, all simply to preserve their fair skin, highly valued in the local culture. Strolling through the streets of Cambodia, it is important to mention that traffic in the country, especially in the capital, can be chaotic to say the least. With a large number of motorcycles, tuk-tuks, cars, and people sharing the same road space, the streets can become quite tumultuous and disorganized. The lack of pedestrian signals and respect for traffic lights makes crossing the streets a real adventure. It takes faith and courage to cross. A peculiarity that you will only find in Cambodia is the way fuel is sold. Here, there are no gas stations like the ones we are used to see, but stalls where fuel is sold in plastic bottles. In addition, some important rules of etiquette and cultural traditions must be observed. One of them is to never touch anyone's head, especially children. For Cambodians, the head is considered the purest part of the body, and is where the strongest connection to the divine is believed to reside. Another rule of etiquette is to avoid exposing the feet when sitting, as they are considered unclean in Cambodian culture. In addition, pointing at someone with your feet is also considered disrespectful. Etiquette aside, there is something about Cambodian culture that is strange to say the least. Can you imagine a tribe where parents build huts so their daughters can rotate and have sex with different men in order to find the perfect husband? Yes, you heard right. In the Kring tribe, an ethnic group in Cambodia, there is a marriage practice that many of us may find surprising. When a young woman comes of age, it is customary for her parents to build her a small dwelling of wood and thatch called the love hut. The purpose of this hut is to allow the girls to have sex with whomever they wish, without the family having to be aware of or involved in the situation. Unlike many other cultures, where women are often judged for having relationships with multiple partners, Kriung girls are encouraged to invite any guy they feel an affinity for to their hut. And the goal is not necessarily intercourse. During the evening, they can simply chat and get to know each other better. However, there are some rules to respect. The boy must leave the hut before dawn, as it is considered inappropriate for young people of opposite sexes to be seen together in public, unless they are officially a couple. This means that encounters take place at dawn, away from the eyes of the community. An interesting aspect of this practice is that the girls are in total control of the situation. If they lose interest or do not want to continue the relationship, they simply ask the boy to leave. Moreover, if a girl becomes pregnant by someone she does not want as a partner, the young man she finally chooses must take care of the child as if it were his own, with no hard feelings. It is important to stress that there is no evidence of sexual violence among the Kreung, and cases of domestic violence are poorly documented. It seems that the love huts are not only places for sexual activity, but also provide a safe environment for young people to find their ideal life partner, away from family stigmas and with the support of the community to make the right choice. And it seems to be working. Surprisingly, this practice is successful, as divorce cases are practically non-existent in this culture, even because it is forbidden. Did you know all these peculiarities of Cambodia? Tell us which one surprised you the most. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to receive more amazing content. Thanks to all of you who have joined us, and see you next time.